Jolan, true Centurions, and welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command. Orion Pirates, most modern Fleet Admiral Turek of the battleship RS Flammapena. As we continue the Outer Rim sieges, yes, we're borrowing from Star Wars just a little bit, but we are indeed sieging the planet here at 16.5, working in the northern edge of the Federation at this time. Going to try and secure this area before we head after the big meaty center, or I suppose meaty east side of the Federation Empire left. Sol, of course, having been captured a couple of episodes ago after a massive knockdown, drag-out fight. So, without further ado, let's push on and continue the battles. Hopefully we can just pop back. We can. Excellent. And we'll go on the shipyard assault. I am still somewhat conscious of the fact that there is a patrol mission in here that does break the game, which can be frustrating to have to re-record an episode if that happens towards the end. So we are kind of trying to avoid certain patrol missions. Definitely always trying to avoid the anomaly mission. Those ones are just bugged completely. So aside from being an incredibly frustrating fight, it does seem to be pretty consistent at this point. Every time I play an anomaly mission, I crash. In fact, it's gotten to the point where I'm keeping a crash log. Although it hasn't happened in quite some time, mainly because we haven't gotten to any of those missions. Although the last 2, maybe 3 anomaly missions we got way back in what almost feels like a previous season, it crashed every time. So, we are currently squaring off against a Federation XCA, one of the best X-type heavy cruisers, I believe, from personal experience. Also, we haven't... Actually, maybe the Merak one is better, but the Federation one is super versatile. Oh, it's so good. I love it. He's also escorted by a freighter who has accidentally revealed his position, and a light cruiser, so this is clearly a long-range scouting group that was out to look for me, and the captain of the Federation heavy cruiser decided, you know what? We can take this guy. He may be in a battleship, but we can take him. And I applaud his enthusiasm, and will repay it in the manner in which it deserves to be repaid. Although, wow, you are actually doing some pretty interesting flank maneuvers. Hopefully you'll stay away. I mean, not because I'm worried about you, but I'm worried for you. However, you do have a pretty significant punch you can send my way if I get in too close. We will fire our pseudo-torpedoes to influence his decision whether or not to crash stop. He is an X-type heavy cruiser, so he may decide that he doesn't care, but I don't think that'll be the case. Long-range missile fire already coming from the Stardock, so they're either Merak or Federation, because they're the ones who equip their Stardocks with missile launchers. And we'll pick up some speed. Incoming photon torpedo fire. Didn't hit. So excellent work there. Actually slow down because, you know, we're heading right for him and he does still have to accelerate up to full speed before we can absolutely annihilate him from existence. Although X-type heavy cruisers should have a pretty decent acceleration. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. The moment I cloak, he's going to fire. Because that is exactly what I would do. Oh, apparently not firing the heavy photon torpedoes. Not quite sure why, but that's going to be full and free hits, knocking out all his shields. He did return fire with his heavy photon torpedoes. Only got a couple of hits in, nothing serious. So I think we wait for these fighters to pass over. No, we're going to wait for his Gatling phaser to go nuts on us, and then we'll deal with him. Because that Gatling phaser can absolutely maul you. Alright, coming out of cloak. USS Antares, excellent name for a ship. I think we've mentioned that before. Oh, yeah, before I forget. Plasma torpedo, thank you. All phasers, select... do we want to focus on the Hope? Yeah, a little bit, just to keep him down. And dealing a decent amount of damage here. 56 to him, that's nearly twice the amount of energy that Plasma S torpedo can hold at all. So, long-range phaser fire, plinking away at the XCA. I think if we focus in, we'll have a pretty good time. Set our shields to reinforce all, because we're going to need it. We're just being surrounded at this point. We do have pseudo-frigates, and I should be deploying them. So let's go ahead and do that. Harassment mode. And harassment mode. Hopefully he will focus most of his firepower on me and ignore the pseudo-frigates. Although from this angle, he's going to have a bad day. Most of our phasers are coming back online. I'd like to get the full volley on the forward weapons. Point defense systems are engaging. He did open fire at long range with his G-type plasma G-type phasers. And we are getting picked apart a little bit. The Federation doing an excellent job of coming at me from multiple angles. Although we are not exactly rushing through this fight to try and control positioning. We are very much trying to bully away it, which we probably shouldn't at this point. Let's drop a mine here. The Antares is in trouble here. I mean, he's down to a speed of 6.5. Most of his energy systems are offline. We do need to pull away a bit so that we can, you know, get the 3 downed shields away from the enemy. But we're doing okay. Not horrific. We didn't have a whole lot of armor coming into this fight. I mean, we have been out here for a little while. and so certain things have not been exactly available to us. We'll start to light skirmishing plasma torpedo against him, and if that hits, I'll fire another plasma torpedo. You're an FLDR, which is decently armed, I guess, for a frigate. Phasers only. I don't want to fire S-type plasma torpedoes at him. Mainly because I wanted to hopefully get his shuttle bay offline, which it is now. So I will fire the other plasma torpedo if you survive this. There we go. This will kill him. Hopefully we'll have that shield up, and we did just in time. And how's he doing? We turned in the wrong direction, to be sure. And Hope is going to come in to really try and take advantage of that. Hope, of course, firing a couple of phasers at our pseudo-frigates, which is a good plan. We're going to see if we can't bring this around. Are you going to fly through that minefield? Although I'm realizing this minefield is very well placed to just take on the missiles incoming. If for nothing else than just holding off that. Try and get back under cloak, like right now. I don't want to lose you, because right now it looks like that's going to happen. Yeah, you're going to die. Unless you cloak right now, you're going to die. Because he's going to overrun you, hit you with a ton of phasers, and just explode. Or not. I suppose you could be a little bit more powerful than I thought you were, but I figured you were going to die. So I had already started to write the letters. I feel a little bit embarrassed now. Do I want to fire my R-type plasma torpedoes? Yeah, I figured. Okay, it's a good thing you said that. I don't want to fire from this range here, because I kind of think that he's going to open fire with a plasma torpedo, and that'll do it. You're going to wild weasel this. You will. We both know it. So we're going to do this. All the pseudos in the universe heading your way. I'm going to fly over to you and tell you to come on home. There's no reason to keep you out there at this point. Please tell me you explode. Yeah. One R-type plasma torpedo was all it needed. And you've got a whole bunch of plasma coming your way. How will you react? You will crash stop in the textbook style of all Federation commanders. And we might even have our S-type plasma torpedoes ready to go by the time we roll back in here. Excellent. So let's keep the patchwork coming. We do need to keep this ship in one piece. At some point, it would be very bad. So yeah, looks like all the S-type plasma torpedoes will be ready for the volley by the time, and now. Ooh, all the S's and the F's and one of the R's. So basically we hit him with King Condor force here. And that did a decent amount of damage there. I do have an alert over here I'm trying to pay attention to, but I do also want to get this S-type plasma torpedo off. So let's see if we can't turn in time. Take a quick peek, make sure... Yep, we're not crashing into nothing. And will that do you in? It will not, but you're struggling now. You've got no more shuttle bay, which is important for your future survival. Although he still has most of his phasers. Kind of surprising that. I mean, he won't for much longer because he'll be an expanding ball of plasma, but I'm a little bit surprised he's still in as good shape as he is. And the D-type plasma torpedoes are now complete. And there we go. The Federation defensive fleet destroyed. The scouting group with that aggressive commander, he managed to do quite a bit of damage. I mean, no lie, we're limping a bit. We're not dead by any stretch of the imagination or even like in super pain, but we're limping. And of course, took out one of our pseudo-frigates, which is of course never fun. Let's increase the speed of time. We know how this is going to play out. We're going to basically fly on in here, pop a single S-type plasma torpedo to knock out a pseudo-torpedo, and then flood him with the rest of the firepower that'll kill him in one go. It'll be nice, easy, and simple. And we're almost fully repaired. Forward shields are being reinforced at a level of 27.5, which is quite nice. Most of our Ds are apparently out. No, they shouldn't be, so they must be reloading, or that's a graphical glitch. Wouldn't be surprised if it was a glitch, because that happens kind of often. How's the repair work going? Yeah, we're done. We're set and ready to rock. So, S-type plasma torpedo selected and ready to kill. And we'll just sort of bully these Stardocks out of position. They are Federation Stardocks, so they're probably out of ammo by this point. So we really probably could just fly right up to them and not even care. Because I'm not seeing any scatter packs or nothing being launched. Although, you know, he might decide to. That wouldn't be the worst decision he ever made. Just the second worst decision he ever made. The worst decision, of course, not being to abandon the Stardock immediately. Wait for the attack shift to go away. Flood him with all the plasma. And he's dead. On to the next one. Just steadily, one by one, we whittle them down, as we do with all of these missions. There is a mission in this game. It is glitched completely, to the point where when I first started these series, I had removed the mission from the game. It is a mission where you're supposed to charge up one of these Stardocks. And you do that by apparently flying through it, according to the mission briefing, but it doesn't work. So it's a very frustrating mission. Because I always wanted these Stardogs to sort of do something in the middle of a battle, because you can actually get missions where you defend these things. We're just almost never in a position where we need to defend these things. And I always wish that you could do more than just try and, like, steal repair parts for them. Being able to place them around in certain locations to be sort of forward supply base. Well, you can do that with star bases at this point. But in the dreamed of future remake of this game, a more robust logistical system would be interesting. Just on a strategic layer. Of course, even if this game were to ever get remade, I don't think that would happen. It's a cool idea, but it wouldn't happen. So the last of the Federation Stardogs sitting in front of the little dragon-like nebula. I always think of like a fairy dragon or something like that whenever I see this. And I wonder why. Well, I know why. I've played enough video games to know exactly why. So wait for that. It'll bait out the shuttle. The attack shift will go away. We'll flood them with all the firepower in the universe. And good night, Irene. Didn't even need the phasers. The shipyard is no more. A Federation X-type cruiser also destroyed. Ugh. How sad for them. Losing one of those at this point of the war, it's a bad thing, because mainly they can't replace them. I mean, the game will let them replace them, but good. The mouse was hanging up for a bit. I was worried I'd crash. Down to Empire Defense of 25. We may be able to take it in this mission if we just go for it. We're gonna try. We're gonna keep the pressure on. I want to see if we can't fully take this thing out without ever going home. Although at this point we have no armor. Any hit that gets through the shields is gonna hurt. Oh look, it's gonna hurt. That is a BBX, so actually not as bad as I was worried about. Are you a monitor? No, you're just an LMQR, so you're another Q ship. You're a luxury medium merchant something or other. This is the model for the luxury liner. It's actually not half bad. Zoom it on in. Yeah, it's a decent enough model. But this, of course, being the model for the battleship. Very dangerous, and we try to avoid having to fight them. But in this fight, it's not going to be like it was the last time, mainly because of our opponent. Our opponent is concentrated, focused all in one direction. Frankly, he doesn't concern me at all. Whereas the XCA, even through our cloak, was able to knock out one of our shields, pretty much, because he had just so much firepower with additional systems, who was then backed up by a heavy war destroyer. Just a single dreadnought. Oh, what a brilliant trap. Oh, I love it. It's absolutely wonderful. Goodbye. No. Not without armor. If we were at full strength, if we had our full capability, and both of our pseudo frigates, this would be an interesting fight. Like this? No. Absolutely not. Never. Look, it's not the fact that... It's not like it was last time where we don't know how to beat this. We've got Marines on board. A pretty significant number. So we could pull this off. I mean, we've got 28 Marines. We could probably capture one of these ships throughout the fight. Maybe even capture both of them. But the amount of mauling that we would get for that would just be so huge. It wouldn't be worth it. And I don't want to risk it. If we had armor, maybe. If we were at full peak efficiency, I'd say let's rock and see what happens, because we could probably do it. But every single shot that they get through is going to knock out something important, because we don't have any sort of innate defense anymore. So we can't really duel with a battleship and a battleship carrier under those circumstances, as interesting as it would be. So no prestige, we are going home, and with that in mind, we're just going to go all the way home. Hi, shipyard, how you doing? Anything interesting, like super crazy? Probably not. I mean, yeah, there's a couple of XCAs, but we've seen these before, I believe. And they're not really worth it for the amount of firepower that we're dishing out anymore. I mean, I like X-type ships, but the Romulan X ships don't come off super well. 354 plus 19, and a 237 worth of a shuttle. And of course come in here, make sure that we get back up to 48 Marines, because we use them, or sometimes we use them. It's nice to have them in a pinch, and at the end of the day, the more you have, the longer you can stay out. So another 262 worth of supplies. Not the cheapest thing ever, but we were out for quite some time. So probably actually wasted most of our budget. a surprise reverse to a shipyard assault. We've done a lot of shipyard assaults today. 2, 3. So I'd rather get a surprise reverse to. It's an easy, fun mission. We zoom in, we get to admire how awesome our ship is and how much we can annihilate. Okay, the ugly pirate ships. So let's just soar on in here. No point in setting up the enveloping plasma torpedoes. No sense in bothering with any sort of reinforcements or ECM, ECCM systems because they're sitting there completely helpless. And we can accelerate not very fast, so we don't even have to worry about energy weapon power-up management. Actually, really quick. I mean, for the largest battleship in the game, technically by BPV. So I've been told. GTA, of course, gave us a reminder that it's, 417 BPV, which is apparently greater than even the B-11 super battleship. So, yeah, plasma is just absurdly good. And we will, of course, deploy our pseudo-frigates in attack mode, because there's no reason for them to stay at distance. They can bully these little frigates completely and totally. In the meantime, we will come after... You're the heavy cruiser, right? CAR, yeah. And you're actually a pretty decently armed one. 4, 5, 6 missile launchers? 2 of those are sea launchers? Yeah, you're a nice little fast, sort of light heavy cruiser, I guess. Fire all of that. Start to slow down so we start recharging. And prepare for the phaser bombardment should he survive this, which he did not. Prepare for the phaser bombardment, which he probably will survive this. We don't have a huge number of phasers. You, shoot. And you, all weapons. Hitting them with everything we've got. The uprightman. Seems like a very old-timey colonial sort of thing. Yeah, the uprightman. He's a very uprightman. The sort of person I would expect to be a silversmith in a Pennsylvania town. I don't know why that movie's on my mind. I can't even remember the name of that movie. Something... It's not Pole Revealer, but it takes place in I think it's Pennsylvania. In old-timey 1700s American colonial era. And it follows this silversmith who burns his hand. I cannot remember the name of the movie. I don't think it's Paul Revere, but it might be. Don't know why it's on my mind. It just came up as I saw the uprightman. So clearly, Paul Revere was on that ship. From the past. Brought to the future. It wouldn't be the first time something like that has happened in Star Wars, Star Trek. Star Fox? No. So passing over him, the stern-type phaser should be able to deal with the ruffler. That's what you get for naming your ship after potato chips. I know those are ruffles, but get over it. And the last vessel, this XLR-2, there's also one over here, but I assume they'll have it taken care of for me. Could be wrong. I mean, good help is hard to find. It's the Ruffler 2! So, really, nobody in this fleet had any sort of imagination. We had a single uprightman, which we don't know why he's in this fleet, because he's a very uprightman, and 2 rufflers. Didn't catch the name of that ship, but it doesn't really matter. He's not very good at this whole surviving thing. And a nice little surprise reverse to put a little bit of prestige in our pocket and to take care of a little bit of a problem. Not a huge one, a little one. Able to take care of things. 300 prestige for that, which is kind of hilarious. Down to an Empire Defense of 20, and another surprise reverse, because that's what we do. We come in and we're incredibly stunning and surprising. I mean, it kind of makes sense. We are the Romulans. We have the bet. Whoa! It's been a while since I've had this view. I do like this cloud. This is just lovely. And we don't normally come at it from this angle. So it's very, very startling when it comes up like this, but very lovely. Speaking of movies, reminds me of Titan AE. You know, Disney animated film starring Matt Damon in a voice actor role, who is the son of a man who invented a ship that can build planets. And he learns to fly a ship through a field just like this. Apparently we're escorted today by an HDW. Hi, the Babylon 5. Oh, the Babylon 5. No. The Babylon, who is 5.54 units away from us. Although, you know, the Babylon 5 would have been a hell of a name. And we're currently squaring off against more pirates. So, not a huge lot of effort needs to be expended here. Not even really getting revenge on anything because it's just pirates. And a whole bunch... Oh, nope, there's the heavy cruiser. Focus on that heavy cruiser, of course. And as soon as we get up to speed, we'll be able to annihilate things. If we set our plasma torpedoes to enveloping mode, we could probably actually flat out kill them. Even this ship. Maybe even a dreadnought. In one shot? Maybe. Maybe not a dreadnought. Probably the heavy cruiser, though. Speaking of, the pirate factions actually do have dreadnoughts, which has always seemed a little bit weird to me. I mean, reasonable, because this game, everybody needs to have the biggest of everything so we can fight toe-to-toe with each other. But, yeah. If we do the pirate campaign, I'm not sure we will. It's been a long Romulan campaign, so I'm not 100% sure I want to do a pirate campaign. But, yeah, they get full-on dreadnoughts, which are kind of hilarious. Not particularly good looking. I don't really think that anything in the pirate fleet does, except for the little steamrunner type freighters that they get. I like those. They look, or not steamrunners, but saber class. But that's just because I'm a fan of the saber class. Alright, we'll get in here with our plasma torpedoes, which apparently we weren't charging at full tilt. So one of our R-type plasma torpedoes might not be ready. That could be a problem, because I think I'm going to need everything to kill this. One more tick and that'll go to full power. Just need to wait for it. Come on. There it is. All the plasma. Prepare to follow up with all the phasers, because I think I'm going to need it. The no-dachi. Oh, the no-dachi. Okay. And coming in around here, we do need to slow down, of course, because at this speed, we can't charge anything. It's another Ruffler. What the heck? It's apparently the most popular ship name in the galaxy here. Wow, I didn't realize it was quite that big. Not complaining, just didn't realize it was quite so big. And sending a lot of firepower that we can into the Ruffler to prove that you need to show some originality in naming your ships, otherwise you will be punished. Who else is here? Do we have any cool or interesting names? Probably not. It's another Uprightman. So much for him. How about you? What are you named? You are also the Upright. I think we may have glitched the ship list, guys. We've got two Rufflers. We've got a Ruffler and two Uprightmans in this fleet. At least the third one's named the Sharper instead of, you know, Uprightman or Ruffler again. That's some pretty accurate fire there. He managed to get a photon torpedo right on target. Do I have any more phases in the forward arc? Nope. They apparently had a wide enough arc to hit just about everything. So, stern firing phasers to just sort him out. There we go. And now just the Ruffler and whatever you were named. You weren't the Ruffler, were you? No. You were the Uprightman. And you were the Ruffler. Gotta keep our continuity straight here. With so many repeated ships. Incoming. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to steal your plasma torpedo. Let's just increase the speed of time. The Uprightman stands no chance, and of course, plasma torpedoes are about to come online. So, plasma E-death. Face the pain. There we go. And another little pirate vessel group destroyed. Doing rather well. 300 prestige, of course, for our trouble. Neutralize the tile, and I'd like to get one more mission out here. Shipyard assault will take too long. That's the reasoning here. Also, shipyard assaults are somewhat annoying. Also, we need to keep making up the amount of money that we lost when we rebuild things. Anything interesting in this fleet? Federation ships at that. A light cruiser is apparently the biggest thing we've got here. If we look at it from their perspective, it's a heavy war destroyer, a Coast Guard ship, an actual frigate, and yeah. Got bad news for you guys. You're in trouble. Pick up speed. Make sure we get up there as quick as possible. Increase the speed of time. Let's not waste it. Oop. Yes, you can do that. A little bit fun in if you're playing in multiplayer and you get to chat and make fun of people. Because sadly, we can't send any hails over here. This is technically your communications panel. If you get a scripted mission, or if you manage to import the Empire at War campaign, which I think you can do, and I'm actually sort of looking to see if I can do that. If you import the Empires at War campaign into Orion Pirates, anytime you do one of the story missions, if there's a special dialogue, it'll show up in here, and you can hail people, taunt people, and do all kinds of fun stuff with them. We came in way too slow. I was not paying attention. I was too busy talking about other games. Much to... probably a mistake. Mistakes may have been made, and if so, they were not by us, they were by other people, clearly. Let's, of course, get our pseudo-frigates a-killin' and a-goin'. 1 and 2. Hi, you're a light cruiser. You honestly don't actually rate this much firepower, but we're going to do it anyway, because it's a little bit funny. Okay, it's a lot fun. A little bit sad for you, though. A PFF, which is actually, wow, you're a pretty nice Coast Guard ship. A destroyer just became active. What? Where? Who just went active? I'm not seeing anybody accelerating. It was you. 1, you're a destroyer? Huh? 2, how? Let's see if this kills him. We really wasted a lot of time there, didn't we? So it's going to be us versus a dozen little tiny ships. This ought to be interesting. I mean, I'm not anticipating any problems, but interesting. Let's go shields 360, just because, wow, that was a pretty surprising amount of firepower to put out from apparently a destroyer. So he must be a Coast Guard destroyer, the Wagenbach. To be fair, he's actually pretty well armed. He's got two photon torpedoes and 2 missile launchers, 6 phaser ones. Yeah, that's actually pretty nice for a Federation destroyer, if you can maintain that kind of firepower. How's the Doolittle doing? Let's just put a little bit of firepower into him just to keep him down. And what's our other target here? The POLR, which is who's worse? The Doolittle is a little bit stronger, just a bit. I mean, oh, but there's also a ship over here. Let's lay into him. Just make sure that he doesn't get any sort of ideas that maybe he can save the Federation. I assume that every Federation captain thinks that they will save the Federation from the impending Romulan doom. And that should generally be the response whenever they start thinking that. Long-range phaser fire, let's just keep things going down, because I assume the pseudo-frigates will take care of the Peacemaker without any sort of real trouble. I would like some plasma torpedoes if you got them, but it may not happen before he turns on or he dies to phaser fire. Start to slow down, because if we get too much on top of him, we'll die. I know, plasma torpedo causes splashback, it's interesting. And you're not quite dead. Now you are. Just absolutely annihilated by 3 plasma F torpedoes. Not a good day to be him. So the nice, beautiful purple starlight in the background. 300 more prestige. That got us back up to pretty much where we were before. Empire defense is down to 15. It'll take a little bit more effort to actually try and take that. And the focus will then move on, of course, to the starbase at 14.5. I kind of lost track about how much time we've actually spent in this episode, so we've either gone long or slightly short. We'll have to do for today. Yeah, so the siege of the Northern Rim is going pretty well. We may try and knock this one off just to split him into pieces, and our nice little outpost here sort of anchoring the whole thing. So yeah, the Federation definitely starting to get on the back foot, and we are hitting 60 episodes in this season. Wow. Just wow, because we are at basically twice the normal season length. I don't know if it's because Romulan missions take much longer because 3-turn plasma torpedoes, if the Federation is just so much longer, or what's going on, but this has definitely been the longest campaign by almost double at this point. Not that I'm not enjoying it. It's a barrel of monkeys to be fighting in this. And yeah, it's probably going to take at least another 15-20 episodes to finish it off based on just how much territory is left. Anyway, though, I've been Tirek. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to receive a notification every time I post one of these videos, press that little bell icon, leave a comment, and I will see you all in the next episode.